125 million years ago, southern Australia was not the warm land many imagine today. It lay close to Antarctica, under cool skies, with rivers cutting through dark forests and ancient valleys. This was a dinosaur world. Small dinosaurs moved through the trees, reptiles and early mammals shared the shadows. But in the water, something older still remained. At first, it might look like a crocodile, a low body, a wide head, a shape wading close to the riverbed. But this animal was not a crocodile. This was Koolasuchus, a giant amphibian from the Early Cretaceous of Australia. It belonged to an ancient group called temnospondyls, animals whose story reached back long before the age of dinosaurs. Its body was not covered in crocodile armor. It was lower, softer, and more amphibian in form. Imagine a huge salamander with a head built for wading at the edge of moving water. The head was the center of its power, broad, flat, and heavy. It could face into the current while the rest of the body stayed hidden below the surface. In a river like this, movement was not always the answer. Patience could be a hunting strategy, a still body, a wide mouth, and the current carrying life close enough. Koolasuchus lived in the dinosaur age, but it was not part of the dinosaur story in the usual way. It was a survivor from a deeper past, sharing the world with animals that had risen after its lineage began. Its world was shaped by geography. Australia was still close to Antarctica. In this southern landscape, cooler conditions may have helped an old kind of amphibian hold on. For much of the Mesozoic, crocodile-like reptiles were powerful animals in warm rivers. But in these cooler southern waters, a different predator could occupy that place. Koolasuchus may have filled a role similar to crocodilians elsewhere, not because it was a crocodile, but because rivers often reward the same kind of body, low, patient, and close to the water. But the animal itself is known from fragments. Pieces of skull, jaw, vertebrae, ribs, and other bones allow scientists to rebuild the outline, while many details remain uncertain. The fossils point to a large aquatic predator. Estimates vary, but Koolasuchus may have reached several meters in length, large enough to dominate the rivers it inhabited. Its size matters, but size is not the most important part of the story. What makes Koolasuchus remarkable is not simply that it was large, it is that it was late. Temnospondyls had once been widespread and diverse. By the time Koolasuchus lived, most of that old world had already vanished. This animal was one of the last echoes. Perhaps the cold rivers of southern Australia gave it room to survive. Perhaps the absence of certain crocodilian competitors allowed it to remain. The exact reasons are still debated. But no refuge lasts forever. As climates changed and warmer conditions returned, crocodilian relatives may have moved back into these waters. The old amphibian world faded again. Koolasuchus did not leave behind a living descendant that still waits in these rivers. It left fragments, impressions, and the strange reminder that survival can sometimes be temporary. Today, its fossils come from the coast of Victoria, where stone preserves pieces of a world once closer to Antarctica than to the Australia we know. Koolasuchus was not a monster left behind by mistake. It was a survivor of deep time, a giant amphibian in a dinosaur world, holding its place in cold water until the world changed again.